Goodbye, Pogradec, and hello, Shkoder. So on September 1st, we left Pogradec and we hopped on a bus. We had to say goodbye to beautiful Lake Ohrid and to all the wonderful people we met in Pogradec, and that wasn't easy. So if you've been following along, we started out in Vlorë in May, and then we moved to Pogradec for the summer, June, July, and August. And then on September 1st, we had an adventure because we took 4 buses. We took one from Pogradec to the East-West Terminal, south of Tirana. Then we took 2 city buses to the South-North Terminal. And then finally, we took a bus to Shkoder. This was our last view of Lake Ohrid from the bus window. And when I say bus, they call them a furgon. It's like a large minivan, but we loved swimming here. Now, the clarity and cleanliness of the water would differ in different areas of the lake, so depending on the current and the wind direction. The bus to Tirana was 600 lek per person, which comes out to be about $7 and change. And this was more of a challenge, getting on the city buses. We use Google Maps, and sometimes Google Maps isn't always accurate. And Jim looked so stressed. I chuckle when I watch this video because he was wondering, are we on the right bus? The bus to Shkoder was clearly marked with a sign in the front window, so we knew we were all set. And here's Shkoder. It's a town of about 100,000 people. And this is the beautiful pedestrian walkway. The town is often called Bike City of Albania because there are tons of bicycles all over, and we couldn't believe how inexpensive it was to rent a bike. €5 a day. Our rental came with bikes, but still, isn't that awesome? There are many beautiful churches here, and the statue on the right is dedicated to the victims of communist persecution. And we didn't know before we came here that Mother Teresa was an ethnic Albanian, and she is revered here, and you can see her image in several places in town. There are several mosques in town, and this large one is located right near the pedestrian walkway. We love street art, and there were just so many beautiful murals all over Shkoder. Now to one of our favorite topics, food. The produce markets, just like in Pogradec and Vlorë, just had so many options, and Jim was in 7th heaven picking out fresh fruits and vegetables. We find that eating out here is cheaper than in Vlorë and Pogradec, and we've kind of gone wild with dining out, especially the first week we were here. One of our favorite foods is an Albanian traditional dish called fergezi. I'm sure I didn't pronounce that correctly, but it's roasted peppers with onions and cheese. It's just so good. Oh, I forgot, it has tomatoes too. So there's this little village alongside Shkoder, and it's called Shiroka, and you could walk there, you could ride your bike there, and it was hot on the day we went, so we took a bus, and it was 80 lek. We wanted to get our eyes on Lake Shkoder, and we even went for a swim. Now, not to sound like a total lake snob, but we did prefer Lake Ohrid over in Pogradec to this lake. This was nice. We enjoyed ourselves, but we found Lake Ohrid to be cleaner and clearer. And I'm sure there are areas of the lake that we didn't have access to that were just as nice, but that's just our humble opinion. So one morning we took a walk to the castle, and it was about a 2-mile walk from our rental, and our rental is near the center of town. And it was such a beautiful morning. The castle has a long, complicated, and extensive history, which is just so fascinating, and we read up on it before we went to the castle. And I encourage you, if you're into history, to Google it because it's so interesting. And if you're not really into history, it's still worth the walk just for the incredible views. If you don't want to walk here, there are taxis that will bring you closer to the location, and there's a city bus that will drop you off, and you still have to do some walking, but not as far. There are a lot of slippery stones, so you need to be really careful here as well. So Shkoder is often referred to as the gateway to the Albanian Alps, and we just had to experience it ourselves. So we took that van from Shkoder, and it was 1,200 lek a piece, and it brought us to the village of Theth. It's about a 2-hour drive, and the road is paved, but it's a 1.5 lane road. So our van driver had to constantly pull over so that other cars could go by, and the views on the way there were awesome. And I would say it's one of those instances where the journey is nearly as beautiful as the destination. Hikers come here from all different parts of the world to hike the many trails that originate in this area, but we are not very sure-footed anymore, so we primarily stayed around the village, but there's plenty of areas to explore, and we absolutely loved it. Check out this next video of a shepherd tending to his flock on the roadway as our bus is trying to maneuver around the sheep. So Shkoder is also considered to be the gateway to the Shala River and Komani Lake. We paid around 38 euros a piece, and that included the round-trip bus tickets as well as the round-trip boat ride. With today's exchange rate, that would be about $44 in US money. The scenery was just so beautiful, and the Shala River was so clear and clean, and it reminded us of the Florida Springs, but of course there's no mountains, and there's plenty of alligators in Florida, but not here. Although it's located in a remote area, it's become a bit commercialized, and we're really happy we went, but it's probably not somewhere where we would return. Also, please note that the road is very rough on the way to the ferry. So, in my other videos, I mentioned about the infrastructure issues in Albania. And let's face it, there is no perfect place anywhere. Shkoder is similar to other towns we visited in that we've experienced some power outages, some water interruptions, there seems to be some waste management issues, and Shkoder does have his share of stray cats and dogs. Thanks to some candid YouTubers and bloggers, none of these things surprised us, and we were able to come prepared with a solar light and with a power bank. So we met some super nice YouTubers who now call Shkoder their home, and although they're not going to go for residency at this time, they have made a decision to settle here, and they just love it. They are a wealth of information, and they do exhaustive research. So check out their channel. It's Secret Destinations with Kevin and Wendy. So I usually like to end all my videos with a sunset picture, but I don't have any here in Shkoder. So here's a sunrise picture in Shkoder when we were on our way to Komani Lake. And I just wanted to thank you so much for coming along with us. I know my videos are very unpolished. I do it all on my Android phone. We don't own a laptop. But thanks a lot, and take care. Safe travels.